All right, guys, so today we're going to be talking about negative exponents. So, with negative exponents, let's first think about what an exponent is. So if we think about what an exponent is, sorry, it's that little number right above our base number that tells us how many times we're going to take our base number and multiply it by itself. So for example, if we have 2 to the third power, that's saying we want 2 times 2 times 2, so 3 2's. If it was 2 to the fifth power, it'd be 5 2's multiplying each other. That's what an exponent is. So it's not like a number that I'm multiplying with or anything like that. So the common mistake that students make with negative exponents is they'll do something like this. 2 to the negative 3 power. So 2 to the negative 3, they'll say, oh, okay, well, 2 to the third power is equal to 8, so that means 2 to the negative 3 power is negative 8. Okay, that's our initial reaction. That's an 8, by the way. And that is completely wrong. It is not negative 8. So if you think about it, 2 to the third power is saying it wants me to multiply 2 by itself. Okay, so 2 to the negative 3, would that say it wants me to times negative 2 by itself? Like, that's just not what an exponent means, right? It's telling me to do some kind of operation with the base number. So negative exponents actually end up being kind of like the opposite of what it is. If you think about, positive numbers, the opposite is negative numbers, right? So if you apply that to this, positive exponent is multiplying, negative is going to be the opposite of that, so it actually ends up being kind of like dividing, but there's an easy way to do it, and let me show you what it is with this little example here. So let's say let's block out everything here. So let's say I have 3 to the negative 3. And let's imagine this is a guy living in an apartment complex, a 2-story apartment complex. He's got a downstairs neighbor of 1. So again, if we were to put 3 to the negative 3 as a fraction, it would be over 1, right? So if we think about that in terms of an apartment building, let's think of this person that's living upstairs as an old man. Okay, and there's these stairs that he has to climb up every day to get to his apartment. Now this guy has bad knees because he's old. So if he has bad knees and he has to climb these stairs, it gives him this negative attitude right here because it hurts his knees to go up and down those stairs. So he talks with his downstairs neighbor and they agree to switch places. So he goes downstairs. And when he does that, instead of being negative, he then becomes positive. Okay? So he's happy with that move. And then if you think about that, that would be like 3 3's down there. So that's kind of like dividing 1 by 3 times. That's basically what a negative exponent is. It's basically dividing like 1, or if there's another person here, it's dividing that person by that many times. Okay? So negative exponents don't actually end up being negative numbers. They end up being fractions. Negative exponents are fractions. And basically all it's doing is telling you to take whatever number has the negative exponent to move it downstairs. And if it was downstairs, it would move upstairs. So if it was like 1 over 2 to the negative 3, to make him happy, you would have to move him upstairs. And then it would become 2 to the positive 3. And that's all you're trying to do, is you're trying to change the sign of the exponent, because it's pretty hard to do anything with a negative exponent. Once it's positive, you can easily expand it and figure it out, right? So 3 to the negative 3 would be 3 3's on the bottom. 1 over 2 to the negative 3 would be 2 or 3 2's on top. Okay? Same kind of idea if it's a variable that just goes downstairs and the exponent becomes positive, but we can't do anything with it then because we don't know what x is, so it just stays 1 over x to the 6. Then we have our roommate scenario. This is where, again, if we're in an apartment building here, the people on the top floor are roommates here. So this person right here is happy because he has an exponent of an invisible 1 there, right? Every number by itself just has an invisible 1 exponent. But his roommate right here is really negative because he's got to climb those stairs. So they agreed to move him downstairs. And you can think of that 1 moving upstairs, but 1 times 13 is just going to be 13. So it would end up being the roommate stays upstairs, roommate goes downstairs, becomes positive. That's your final answer. Okay, it's really as simple as that. So for example, if I'm looking at, well, let's go look at the actual assignment here. So let's look at this page here. So let's say I want to take, well, let's look at page 4. So let's say I want to take 7 to the negative 2 and figure out what that is. So if you think of it as 7 to the negative 2 over 1, they switch places to make him positive. He has to move downstairs, and then that guy would go upstairs and be 1 over 7 to the second power. And then we can simplify that some more. 7 times 7 would be 49, so it'd be 1 over 49. Okay, and that's really all you're doing here. So 11 to the negative 1, make him happy. You push him downstairs, it becomes 1 over 11 to the positive 1, which is just 1 over 11. Okay? That's pretty much all you're doing. Same with if it's a variable. 4 to the negative 3. 4 would go downstairs. Or that's not, I want to do a variable. Let's do k to the negative 3. K to the negative 3. Go downstairs. 1 over k to the third power. I can't really figure or simplify that anymore because I don't know what k is, so that's my final answer there. Okay, and then again, if they have a roommate, roommate would stay upstairs, unhappy person goes downstairs, or vice versa. If they were, well, if like the negative person was downstairs, he'd go upstairs, but all of these are upstairs here. So looking at this, 5 is positive, so he stays there. X to the negative 4, that's a negative exponent there, so he's going to move downstairs. 5 stays on top, and it'd be 5 over x to the positive 4. Okay, don't know what x is, so that's the most I can simplify it. Let's try another one. 6 times x to the negative 2. The 6 is happy where he is, but x to the negative 2 wants to become positive, so he goes downstairs, becomes 6 over x to the positive 2. And that's really all there is to it. Okay, and just to show you another example here, let's imagine that we have 2 to the negative 3 power over x to the negative 5 power. So both these guys are unhappy in their places. So this guy's unhappy living down below. This guy is unhappy living up above. So they're both just going to change places. X to the now positive 5 is on top, and 2 to the now positive 3 is on the bottom. And we can simplify this a little more. 2 to the third power is going to be 8, so it'll be x to the fifth power over 8. And that's pretty much all you do with negative exponents, is you just move them down or up and make them positive.